New York prosecutors could file charges against former President Trump's company as early as this week. The investigation by the Manhattan District Attorney and New York Attorney General has been pursuing tax-related charges against members of the Trump Organization for months now. The former president says his company is being investigated for things that are, quote, standard practice throughout the U.S. business community, calling the investigation a partisan witch hunt. The tax investigation is part of a larger criminal probe looking at whether the Trump Organization undervalued its assets on loan, tax, and insurance paperwork for financial gain. For more, I'm joined by CBS News Homeland Security and Justice reporter Nicole Sganga. Hi, Nicole. So what crimes are on the table from the Manhattan DA charge, and who are the likely targets?
Hi there. Good to be with you. Well, Ronald Fischetti, who is the lawyer representing former President Donald Trump and his legal standoffs with New York prosecutors, expects the Trump Organization to be criminally charged in the coming days, as well as some high-ranking executives who oversee the former president's vast real estate and business empire. The Trump Organization's legal team anticipates the real estate company will be accused of tax crimes relating to alleged failure to pay taxes on corporate perks and benefits doled out to some of these employees, things like leases on apartment buildings and company-backed cars. Now, lawyers specializing in tax rules and even Trump's own legal defense team tell CBS News it would be highly unusual, even unprecedented, to indict a company just for failing to pay taxes on some of its perks. And I'm told that attorneys for the Trump Organization plan to immediately move to dismiss the case in court if charges are brought by a grand jury this week or next. But those legal experts outside of this case have also told CBS that claiming that a prosecutorial argument is rare is not a defense in and of itself. We know that the district attorney's office obtained years and years of the former president's tax records in February following a lengthy legal battle. And meanwhile, we also know that the Manhattan DA's office has begun building a case against Alan Weisselberg. He is the Trump Organization's chief financial officer and a close confidant of the former president's. For months now, prosecutors have been digging into Weisselberg as part of an effort to pressure him to cooperate in a larger probe of the former president's business dealings. Lastly, one person that President Trump's defense team does not expect will be charged, the former president himself. And we should note that no charges so far have been filed yet. But that did not prevent the former president from putting out a statement late last night. On Monday night, the former president decried prosecutors as witch hunters. He called them rude, nasty, totally biased. Lots of unknowns in the case here, Tanya, but one thing's for sure, if charges are filed, the former president is not planning on sitting idly by.
And you mentioned Alan Weisselberg. On Monday, his former daughter-in-law said she's, quote, prepared to testify before the grand jury investigating the Trump Organization. What information might investigators want from her about her ex-husband and former father-in-law?
Yeah, well, Alan Weisselberg's intimate knowledge of the Trump Organization makes him really valuable to investigators. It also makes the folks around him quite valuable. He's, worked with the Trump family since the 1970s. He's been a top executive even as, former President Trump went to the White House. Documents from his former daughter-in-law, Jennifer, and his son, Barry Weisselberg's divorce show thousands of dollars of payments for cars, rent, and tuition payments from Alan Weisselberg to his son's family. And they're sort of a piece of this larger puzzle that prosecutors are fiddling with in an effort to gain Weisselberg's cooperation. Now, earlier this year, the Manhattan DA's office did subpoena school tuition payments for the Weisselberg grandchildren. Jennifer Weisselberg has stated that between 2012 and 2019, more than $500,000 of her children's tuition investigation was paid for with checks signed by Alan Weisselberg and even former President Donald Trump himself. And so these are clues that the Manhattan DA's office is likely going to examine whether the Weisselbergs evaded taxes with this tuition payment agreement, along with, alleged Trump organization-funded apartment leases and cars. We do know that Jennifer Weisselberg has met several times with the Manhattan DA's office as well as the New York State Attorney General's office. We know that she's willing to testify. We don't know if she has been asked to testify, and so far, Alan Weisselberg has not been cooperative with this investigation.
Nicole Sganga, thank you so much.
Thank you.